You cry in silence and still call yourself weak? No, baby, that's strength. Real strength isn't loud. It's silent. It's survival. It's scars hidden behind a smile. And if you're tired of breaking every time someone leaves, if you're done giving your best and getting broken in return, then listen. Because today we're not talking about heartbreaks. We're talking about heart upgrades. Not about becoming cold, but about becoming untouchable. Emotionally strong, fierce, and unapologetically you. Ready? Feel every damn thing you've been told to be strong, right? To hold it in. To smile when it hurts. To laugh when you want to scream. But let me tell you something powerful. That's not strength. That's self-burial. You cannot become emotionally strong by pretending you don't feel pain. You don't heal by ignoring the wound. You heal by touching it, crying over it, cleaning it, and finally standing up despite it. There's a lie they sold you, that feeling deeply makes you weak. It doesn't. It makes you alive. Think about the last time you lost someone, not just by death, but someone walking away. Did you feel that gut punch? That silence in your chest where their voice used to echo? And what did you do? You told yourself, I'm fine. It's okay, I'll get over it. But did you really? Because pretending doesn't heal. It pauses pain. And paused pain becomes poison. There's this girl I knew. Every time her boyfriend cheated, she forgave him. Not because she didn't feel the betrayal, but because she was afraid to feel it fully. Afraid that if she did, she'd break. So she smiled, played happy, until one day she couldn't smile anymore. The dam broke. And when it did, she realized if only she had cried when it hurt, if only she had screamed the day her soul cracked, she would have healed sooner. She wouldn't have become numb. You suppress emotions, you invite explosions. In relationships, in work, in life. Have you seen a pressure cooker burst? That's what happens when you pack too much without letting the steam out. People do the same. They smile through betrayal, laugh through loneliness, and act fine through pain. Until one day, they explode at the wrong person, at the wrong time, for the wrong reason. That's not emotional strength. That's emotional storage. And even storage has a limit. So feel it all. Feel the anger when someone disrespects you. Let that fire burn through your bones. Not to destroy, but to remind you that you deserve better. Feel the sadness when a friendship dies, when your calls go unanswered, when you're replaced by someone you thought could never take your place. Let it ache, let it sting, because that sting is not your weakness. It's your humanity. Even in joy, feel it. Don't laugh like it's borrowed. Laugh like it's earned. Be fully present in your emotions. That's what makes you powerful. I remember a woman who lost her job after 10 years. She went home, locked herself in a room, and cried. For 2 days straight, her family thought she had gone weak. But on the third day, she stood up, eyes swollen but spine straight, and she said, I've cried it out, now I'm ready to rise. 2 years later, she owned her own business. Not because she never broke down, but because she allowed herself to. We are not machines. We are storms, oceans, fire, and ash. And all of it needs to be felt. Stop teaching your daughters to be strong and quiet. Teach them to be strong and honest with what they feel. Stop telling your sons to man up. Tell them to feel up, to cry, to express, to connect. Strength is not about what you hide. It's about what you face. So cry if you must. Scream if you have to. Break down for a moment if it sets you free for a lifetime. Because real strength begins the moment you stop faking that you're okay and start feeling every inch of your truth. Some things don't break you. They just slowly drain you, drop by drop, minute by minute, until one day you look in the mirror and you don't recognize who you are anymore. And that right there is your sign. Cut off what kills your energy. You don't have to wait for someone to betray you, disrespect you, or humiliate you to walk away. Sometimes it's not about what they do, it's about how they make you feel consistently. Drained, unseen, heavy. And that heaviness, that's not love. That's not loyalty. That's not worth it. There's this guy I knew. Every time he met his college friends, he came back quieter. Not because they were bad people, but because they made backhanded jokes about his dreams. He wanted to start a brand. They laughed and said, "Tu to sakari naukri ke layak, bina nahi aaye." He laughed with them. But every time he did, something inside him cracked. Until one day he stopped meeting them. Not with drama, not with fights, just silence. And guess what? Within 1 year, he launched his brand. Some people don't need to hit you to hurt you. They just need to make you question your worth. Subtly, repeatedly, quietly. Cut them off. Not everyone deserves access to you. Your energy is not public property. You're not a charger where everyone can plug in and drain you while you're running on 2%. Ever had a conversation where you felt lighter? Now think about the ones where you felt like someone just sucked the soul out of you. That's not random. That's your body telling you this person is not meant for you. Protect your vibe like your life depends on it. Because emotionally it does. I met a girl who stayed in a relationship for 5 years. The guy never cheated, never hit her, but every time she shared a new idea, he rolled his eyes. Every time she dressed up, he asked, for whom? Every time she felt happy, he reminded her to be realistic. She was not being abused, she was being dimmed. And she didn't even notice it until her fire turned to flicker. One day she looked at herself and said, "Why am I always tired? Why does my soul feel sleepy?" And boom, it hit her. It wasn't her job, it wasn't the weather, it was him. The silent killer of her spark. So she left. No fights, no closure, just left. And it was the loudest thing she ever did. Cut off what kills your energy. Even if it's family, even if it's your oldest friend, even if it's your own overthinking patterns. Sometimes it's not people, it's that one habit. Scrolling for hours through people's fake lives on Instagram and wondering why your own feels dull. Delete the app, go for a walk, reclaim your mind. Sometimes it's your job. You go in every morning, sip your coffee, fake your smile, and die a little more. Your paycheck feeds your bills but kills your purpose. Now, I'm not saying quit overnight, but start planning your escape. You weren't born to be a prisoner in a cubicle. Energy is sacred. And every minute you spend on something that drains you is a minute you didn't give to something that fuels you. Stop waiting for rock bottom. You don't need an earthquake to move. Sometimes a whisper is enough. That whisper inside you saying, "This doesn't feel right anymore." Listen to it. The bravest thing you can do is walk away, not because you hate something, but because it no longer feeds your soul. And you deserve to be fed. You deserve conversations that light up your eyes. Rooms where you don't shrink yourself. People who refill you, not deplete you. So cut it off. Quietly, gracefully, no explanations, no guilt. Just you choosing peace over pressure, fire over fog, and freedom over fake attachments. Protect your peace like a queen protects her crown. Not everyone should have access to your peace, your calm, your mind. That inner stillness you feel, that clarity you fought so hard for, it's not up for debate. It's not up for sale. And it's definitely not to be played with. Every time you let someone disturb your peace, you are allowing chaos to sit on your throne. And tell me, have you ever seen a queen let just anyone touch her crown? You have to get to that place in life where your peace becomes non-negotiable. Not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect. Because peace is not just silence. It's freedom from the noise that doesn't serve your growth. So there's this girl I knew, always smiling, always calm, always collected. People admired her strength, her elegance. But what they didn't see were the boundaries she built like walls. She had friends who would call her at midnight, crying over the same toxic ex again and again. She'd listen, she'd advise, but after a year she realized she was carrying emotions that weren't even hers. She was drained, exhausted, and slowly losing her balance. So one day she started saying, "Not today." And people got angry. They called her selfish. But here's the truth. You're not selfish for protecting your peace. You're just done being everyone's emotional dustbin. You don't owe your peace to anyone who constantly brings drama, gossip, negativity, or chaos. That co-worker who always complains, spreading low vibrations, protect your crown. That relative who shows up only to criticize your choices, your body, your dreams, protect your crown. That partner who gaslights you, makes you doubt your worth and then calls it love, protect your damn crown. Even your thoughts, yes, your own mind, can be a peace thief. You wake up and immediately start scrolling, comparing, overthinking. Did I say the wrong thing? Why didn't he text back? Why is she ahead of me in life? Pause. Breathe. Stop. Would a queen wake up and beg the world for validation? No. She'd rise. She'd wear her crown. And she'd set the tone for the day, not let the day set the tone for her. Another woman I know, a single mother, worked 3 jobs. Life was chaos. Bills, school, pressure. But every morning at 5 a.m., before the world woke up, she lit a candle, sat for 10 minutes in silence, and said nothing. She just existed. That was her sacred time. She called it her peace pocket. And she told me once that 10 minutes of peace keeps me sane for the remaining 23 hours and 50 minutes. Because peace isn't always a vacation. Sometimes peace is 5 quiet minutes in the middle of a storm. And protecting it is not a luxury, it's survival. People will test you. They will poke at your patience. They will try to pull you into fights, arguments, drama. And you must ask yourself, is this worth my peace? 9 times out of 10, it's not. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to defend yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You don't have to lose your peace just to prove a point. Sometimes the most powerful move is silence. Sometimes it's walking away without a word. Sometimes it's smiling and letting people think they've won. Because your peace is worth more than your ego. Imagine your peace like a golden crown, glowing, sacred and heavy with wisdom. Would you let just anyone reach for it? Would you let dirty hands touch what you've built through healing, pain, growth and silence? No, you guard it. Because a queen doesn't explain why her crown is heavy. She simply wears it and walks like royalty through the noise. Talk to yourself like you talk to someone you love. Because the longest relationship you'll ever have in this lifetime is with yourself. From your first breath to your last, you are your only constant. And yet, isn't it strange? We speak more kindly to strangers than we do to our own reflection. We forgive others for hurting us, but we punish ourselves for the smallest mistakes. If your friend came to you crying, saying they feel like a failure, would you say, yeah, you're pathetic? No. You'd say, you're just going through a rough time. This doesn't define you. You're stronger than this. So why do you say the opposite to yourself? There's a guy I knew, brilliant, talented, kind, but every time he looked in the mirror, he'd whisper, you're not enough. Not good enough, not smart enough, not successful enough. One day I asked him, would you say this to your younger brother? He was horrified. Of course not. I said, then stop saying it to the little boy that still lives inside of you. Because deep down, we're all carrying younger versions of ourselves. Wounded, confused, fragile. Talk to them gently. You're not just talking to who you are now, you're healing who you were. Your words become your reality. If every day you wake up and tell yourself, I'm behind, I'm ugly, I'm dumb, I'll never make it, then even the brightest light will feel like darkness. But if you start saying, I am trying, I am learning, I am proud of how far I've come, suddenly the world doesn't feel like a battlefield. It feels like a journey. There's a girl I met during a seminar. She had a stutter. She told me, I hate the way I speak, I sound broken. I looked at her and said, you don't sound broken, you sound brave. You're speaking even when it's hard. That's power. The next time she introduced herself, she smiled before speaking. Her voice still trembled, but her words didn't bleed anymore. Because healing starts when your inner voice shifts from critic to coach, from bully to best friend. Most of us are trapped in our own mental prisons, not because of what others say, but because of what we say to ourselves. And the truth is, no one hears your thoughts louder than you. You listen to your voice 24/7. So what you say inside, it matters more than what anyone else could ever say on the outside. I once met a single mom raising 3 kids, working 2 jobs. She told me, some days I cry in the bathroom, then wipe my tears and pretend I'm okay. I asked, "What do you say to yourself when you cry?" She paused, then whispered, "That I'm weak." I looked at her and said, "No. Tell yourself you're a warrior. You're doing something most people couldn't survive. And you're still loving your kids, still showing up, still trying. That's not weakness. That's divine strength." Her eyes welled up, not from sadness, but from finally hearing what she needed to hear from herself. Affirmations are not cheesy, they're survival tools. Saying, "I am worthy, I am healing, I deserve love" is not delusion, it's direction. It guides your energy, it shapes your self-worth. Because here's the truth. If you don't love yourself, the world mirrors that back. But when you look in the mirror and say, "I got you," your eyes soften, your breath slows, your soul exhales, and suddenly life doesn't feel like a battle against yourself. It becomes a dance with your destiny. You don't need to be perfect to love yourself. You just need to be present. To say, even on my worst days, I'm still deserving of kindness. Not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. A living, breathing miracle. Flawed, yes, but powerful beyond measure. So speak to yourself like someone who matters. Speak like someone who's finally listening. Because that voice inside you, that's the voice that will either build your empire or burn it down. Don't react, respond. Because the difference between a weak mind and a strong soul is just one breath. That pause, that stillness, that moment when the world wants you to explode, but you choose to evolve instead. Reactions are instinct, responses are power. And you don't build an empire by losing your cool every time something pokes your pride. You build it by knowing when to speak, when to be silent, and when to walk away with grace so loud, it shakes the ground beneath them. I knew this woman, fierce but fiery. Quick to clap back, quick to defend, quick to throw words like knives. She told me once, "I don't take nonsense from anyone." But what she didn't realize was, every reaction was a rope pulling her deeper into chaos. She wasn't free. She was tangled in her own triggers. One day, her boss wrongly accused her in front of everyone. The old her would have snapped. But that day, she paused, breathed, looked him in the eye and said, "When you're ready to talk facts, I'll be in my office." That moment changed her life. Because she didn't react to prove herself, she responded to protect her power. When you react, you become a puppet. Every word, every insult, every move from someone else controls you. But when you respond, you become the puppeteer, you decide the story, you hold the script, you control the scene. And that's what emotional strength looks like. Not screaming to be heard, but staying silent because you already know your worth. There's a young guy I know, always trying to make peace. His girlfriend would throw tantrums, scream, accuse, insult. He'd yell back. They'd break things, then break down. One day he came to me, exhausted. I said, "What if you didn't match her energy? What if you became the calm in her storm?" The next fight, she shouted. He didn't. He sat down and softly said, "Are you hurt or just trying to hurt me?" That sentence changed everything. She broke down in tears. Sometimes people don't need your reaction. They need your compassion. And if they don't deserve it, then walk. But walk with silence, not with rage. We've grown up believing that strength is loud. But real strength? Real power? It's quiet, it's controlled. It's when someone disrespects you. And you don't lose your dignity to defend your ego. It's when life slaps you, and instead of slapping back, you look it in the eye and say, "That all you got?" Imagine you're in traffic, someone cuts you off. Your heart races, your hands grip the wheel, your mouth wants to explode. But what do you gain by honking like a maniac, by shouting into the wind? You waste your peace, your energy, your day. For what? A moment that won't even matter tomorrow? You didn't just react to them, you gave them control over your mood. And queens don't give peasants the throne. Kings don't hand over their crown for street fights. Responding is an art. And like all art, it requires discipline, self-awareness, patience, and most importantly, intention. Because when you respond, you're not just choosing your words, you're choosing your future. A text left unanswered, a door left closed, a smile instead of a slap. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of wisdom. A friend once told me, I don't argue anymore. I observe, I understand, then I decide what energy deserves my attention. That's royalty mindset. That's how you win battles without ever stepping into the war. Your peace is too expensive. Don't spend it on temporary people and impulsive reactions. The world will provoke you, poke you, test you, but don't give them the version of you that's triggered. Give them the version of you that's trained. You are not just your emotions, you are the master of them. So when the fire rises, don't become the flame, become the water, controlled, calm, unshakable. That's not just response, that's rain. Turn rejection into redirection. Because rejection is not a wall, it's a signpost. It doesn't say stop, it says not this way, not right now. Most people take rejection as a final verdict. But the ones who rise, they read it as a map to something greater, something divine, something they never saw coming. There was a girl I met, full of dreams, heart bursting with talent. She auditioned for a role that she believed was made for her. She gave it everything, emotion, expression, soul. But when the call came, they said, we've chosen someone else. She cried for days, questioning her worth. Was I not good enough? Did I fail? I told her, no, darling, you didn't fail. You got filtered. Because sometimes the universe rejects you only to redirect you to where you truly belong. 2 months later, she walked into a different room for a different role, one she didn't even think she wanted. And that role changed her life. It launched her career. She wasn't rejected. She was rerouted. Because what's for you will find you, not in the way you expect, but in the way you need. Rejection is a redirection to protection. Let that sink in. That job that didn't call you back, maybe it was a toxic environment you couldn't see. That person who ghosted you, maybe they were never aligned with your energy in the first place. That opportunity that slipped through your fingers, maybe it was just making space for something so much better to land in your hands. There's a man I know who proposed to his girlfriend after 5 years together. She said no. He was shattered. Months later, heartbroken and alone, he decided to travel solo to heal. On one of those trips, he met a woman who didn't just love him, she challenged him, inspired him, matched his soul. Today, he says that no saved me. It was the most beautiful rejection of my life. Sometimes the pain that breaks you is actually the push that builds you. Rejection is not about your value, it's about alignment. You're not less because someone didn't choose you. You're just being aligned with something more powerful, more meaningful, more you. Don't shrink because someone said no. Stand taller, because the ones who say no today might not even deserve a yes from you tomorrow. You've got to trust the detour. Have you ever taken a wrong turn on the road and then suddenly discovered a new cafe, a hidden park, a sunset you weren't supposed to see? That's life. Rejection is life's wrong turn that leads to the right place. One woman applied to her dream university 3 times. Denied every single time. She cried, she cursed, but she didn't stop. On the 4th try, she shifted. She applied somewhere else. A smaller school. Less fancy. But that's where she discovered her purpose. She went from being just another name in a big place to being the name that lit up a small one. She told me, I didn't get my dream, I got my destiny. That's the power of redirection. When something doesn't work out, don't ask why me. Ask, what is this making room for? Because every no is preparing you for a more powerful yes. And rejection isn't just about what's gone. It's about what's coming. So the next time life says no, smile. Whisper to yourself, okay, then where to next? Because queens and kings don't beg for entry. They build their own gates. And when one door closes, it's not rejection, it's revelation. Something better is coming, something stronger, something more aligned with who you're becoming. You just have to keep walking. Not with bitterness, but with boldness. Because the path isn't lost, it's just being rewritten for something greater than you imagined. Train your mind like a muscle. Because just like abs don't pop overnight, clarity, resilience, and self-control aren't miracles. They're built. Repetition, sweat, discipline. If your body needs a gym, your mind needs one too. And guess what? Every single challenge, insult, heartbreak, delay, betrayal, that's the workout. Most people feed their bodies 3 times a day but starve their minds their entire lives. Your body gets sick and you rush to heal it. But when your thoughts spiral, when your peace breaks, you just scroll, escape, ignore. And that's the mistake. You've got to train your mind to lift heavier thoughts, the same way you lift heavier weights. Start small, but stay consistent. There was a boy who had stage fright, couldn't say a word in class, shaky voice, sweating palms, the whole deal. But every day he stood in front of the mirror and repeated, "I belong on that stage," 10 times. Then he moved to reading aloud, then to speaking in his friend group, then to hosting a college event. And now, he's a TEDx speaker. That's not magic, that's mental muscle. He didn't wait for confidence, he created it. Think about this. When life hits you, do you collapse or do you contract? Do you get consumed or do you compose yourself? Your emotional response is your mental fitness, and it only grows when you stretch it. Through adversity, through pain, through discomfort, that heartbreak you barely survived, that failure that made you question everything, that betrayal that stung so deep you forgot who you were, those are not scars. Those are strength marks. Proof that your mind has been lifting the weight of life and surviving it. You go to the gym and expect to feel sore. But when life hurts your feelings, you call it unfair? No, that's your mental gym. And every setback is a rep. Every rejection is a push-up. Every no is your chance to grow. I knew a woman, single mom, 2 jobs, 1 dream, to become a lawyer. People laughed. You're too old, too tired, too busy. But you know what she did? She started waking up at 4 a.m. Not to scroll, not to gossip, to study, to train, to fuel her brain like it mattered. She didn't have time to complain. She had discipline to build. And today, she's a practicing attorney. Not because her life got easier, but because her mind got stronger. Train your mind like it's sacred, because it is. It holds every version of you, past, present, future. And if you don't take control of it, the world will. The opinions of others will squat there rent-free. Fear will set up shop. Doubt will bench press your potential. You have to take back the reins. Daily, start with silence, 5 minutes. Just you, your breath, and your thoughts. Then gratitude. Name 3 things you're blessed with, even if it's just your legs, your voice, your heartbeat. Then goals. Speak them like they already exist. That's mental repetition. That's strength building. That's transformation. There's this guy I met, corporate job, hated it, wanted to be a chef. Everyone told him he was being stupid. So instead of quitting, he started training his mindset. Woke up every day and visualized his restaurant. Practiced recipes at night. Watched culinary masters. Fed his mind before he fed anyone else. 3 years later, he owns that restaurant. The food's great. But you know what's greater? The mind that refused to give up. Don't just go to the gym for your body. Build a routine for your mind. Detox from negative people like you. Detox sugar. Feed it positivity like protein. Rest it. Challenge it. Respect it. Because when your mind is strong, no storm can shake you. When your mind is trained, no opinion can break you. And when your mind is unstoppable, your reality becomes undeniable. You don't need motivation, you need mental stamina. Train it, build it, and become your strongest version, inside out. Walk alone until your holds your hand is holding your heart. And not every presence beside you deserves a place within you. The most dangerous thing you can do is settle for company just to silence your loneliness. And the most powerful thing you can do is walk alone, boldly, until the right energy matches your stride. We live in a world that glorifies being surrounded. The louder the circle, the louder the claps, the more valuable we think we are. But silence reveals truth. Solitude sharpens clarity. And if you never learn how to enjoy your own company, you'll forever be chasing people who don't even value theirs. There was a woman I knew, beautiful soul, loving heart, but always hopping from one relationship to another. Every breakup left her shattered. Not because she lost them, but because she had no idea who she was without them. One day she said, I've never eaten alone at a restaurant. That hit me hard. Because when you're afraid of your own presence, you'll accept anyone else's. One evening, she went alone to a cafe, sat by the window, ordered her favorite dish, and brought a journal. She didn't scroll, didn't call, didn't distract, just wrote, reflected, observed. It was uncomfortable, then powerful, then freeing. Months passed. She traveled solo, took herself out, built her world. And when someone finally came along, she didn't fall. She chose. Because walking alone taught her the difference between being impressed and being aligned. Your loneliness is not a weakness, it's preparation. It's your spirit saying, let me cleanse the room before someone new enters. You don't fill a palace with random visitors. You guard it, protect it, and wait for those worthy of its beauty. And you, my love, are a palace, not a pit stop. I knew a guy, funny, charming, brilliant, but he kept forcing friendships with people who dimmed his light. He said, it's better to have bad company than no company. I told him, no, it's better to have your peace than someone else's poison. One day he stopped replying, stopped texting, sat with himself. It felt empty. But then, something shifted. He discovered books, ideas, passions he never explored before. And guess what? New people started entering his life. People who saw him not just used him, because when you raise your frequency, low energies fall away. Walking alone is not about arrogance, it's about alignment. You're not saying, I don't need anyone. You're saying, I won't settle for just anyone. When you learn to love your own path, you stop begging to walk on someone else's. That's power. There's this girl who broke off an engagement weeks before her wedding. Everyone called her crazy. How can you throw this away? But deep down she knew she was choosing comfort, not connection. She chose solitude over pretending, pain over pleasing, growth over guilt. And a year later she found someone who didn't just complete her, he complemented her. Because she waited, because she walked alone. Stop dragging people who were never meant to walk with you into chapters that require solitude. You're not behind. You're not broken, you're just building. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is sit with your own silence, hear your own thoughts, and realize you're not lonely. You're becoming. And when the right ones arrive, you'll recognize them. Not because they'll complete you, but because they'll meet you. Whole, grounded, aligned. You won't chase, you won't beg, you'll simply continue walking and they'll match your steps. Not pull you back, not slow you down, but walk with you in rhythm, in purpose, in peace. So until then, walk alone, walk strong, walk silently if you must, but never stop. Because those who are meant for your journey won't need to be convinced. They'll simply appear and they'll walk like they were meant to be there all along. And so here you are at the crossroads of your life where you must decide whether you will rise or remain stagnant, whether you will let life push you or push back with all your strength. The truth is, the power to transform your life lies in your hands. And every single step you take towards your growth is an act of rebellion against the limits that the world tries to place on you. You were never meant to be small. You were born to stand out, to break barriers, to conquer fears, and to live a life of greatness. So why settle for less when you can have everything you deserve? You are the author of your story, and the chapters that follow are yours to write. You are not the product of your circumstances, but the creator of your destiny. The truth is, you are more powerful than you give yourself credit for. If you only knew the immense strength that lies within you, you'd never doubt your worth again. Listen to me. When the storm comes, and it will, you won't shrink, you won't cower, you will stand tall, not because you're invincible, but because you've learned the power of persistence. The greater the storm, the brighter the rainbow. Every setback is simply the universe's way of setting you up for something bigger, something better. Every failure is just a stepping stone to your success. So embrace the pain, the struggles, and the challenges because they are the fuel that will propel you forward. Think about the legends you admire. They were not born with silver spoons in their mouths. They didn't have it easy. They were ridiculed, rejected, underestimated, just like you. But what set them apart wasn't their circumstances. It was their mindset. They understood that greatness doesn't happen overnight. It's earned. It's fought for. And it's only for those who are relentless enough to never give up, no matter how tough the journey gets. You don't need permission to rise. You don't need anyone's approval to claim your space in this world. This is your life, your time, your opportunity. And you must rise, not because the world demands it, but because you are here to make a mark that no one can erase. You are not meant to follow the path set by others. You are here to create your own, to walk with confidence and leave footprints of inspiration wherever you go. Now, I know it's not always easy. I know there will be days when you'll feel like giving up, when the weight of the world feels like too much to bear. But let me tell you this. When you feel like quitting, remember why you started. Remember the fire that burned in your heart when you first dreamed big. That dream is not dead. It's waiting for you to wake up and fight for it. Don't let anyone or anything dim your light. You are meant to shine, and the world needs you, your talent, your brilliance, your heart. Never forget that. When life gives you obstacles, use them as opportunities to grow. Every challenge is a chance to rise higher, to become better, stronger, and more resilient. When the path is unclear, take a step forward anyway. Because that one step is the difference between staying stuck and moving toward your destiny. Don't wait for things to be perfect. The perfect moment will never come. It's time to stop waiting for the right time and start creating it. You were born to achieve greatness, but greatness doesn't come easy. It comes to those who are willing to fight, to fail, and to rise again and again. It's for those who are not afraid to take risks, to step into the unknown and to push beyond their limits. It's for those who are willing to work harder, to go further, and to never settle for mediocrity. So stand tall, be bold, and remember, the world doesn't owe you anything, but you owe it to yourself to show up every single day and give it your all. Don't let anyone steal your dreams or tell you what you can't do. You are the architect of your future, and the foundation of that future is built with the bricks of hard work, passion, and perseverance. When you feel like quitting, remind yourself that you're stronger than you think. The best version of yourself is waiting to emerge. All you have to do is believe it. The world is waiting for you to rise, to conquer, to make a difference. And you will. Because you are unstoppable. You are limitless. And you will shine brighter than you ever imagined. Keep moving, keep believing, and keep fighting. The best is yet to come.